overall, if you see the steps involved in terms of a pen test, so this is how you will see. First one is you want to first discover how your network is visible from the outside world, mapping up those network, how your email servers are talking to each other, and how your web server is talking to your internal servers, and where the firewall is sitting, and how this thing. Reconnaissance, that is actually, reconnaissance is like another main activity as part of this pen test. Like you basically will be collecting a lot of this information, additional information that are out there to really figure out what is going to be the target and stuff, right? And then, of course, there are additional steps that you could do in terms of the public sources that are available out there, your domain name registry, and doing some port scanning to figure out what all the services and other things that you have. And then, of course, like you will have a bunch of public IP addresses and things. You will have to be able to shortlist those IPs and figure out what exactly is going to be, your interest, and what are the services that you want to really do the pen test on. And then, of course, like once you have the IPs and things, you will be able to identify at least what kind of OS and other software that you're running on top of it. And then, like once you have the OS information, obviously there are a lot of libraries out there. You could open source libraries or proprietary libraries. You could use them to figure out what are the vulnerabilities that are still out there in a given system. And then the next step is the most important when it comes to pen test, right? So exploiting these vulnerabilities. So obviously, when the vulnerability is disclosed, and you always have at least a high level detailed steps on how to exploit the vulnerability. So that's a process that you need to be using to really figure out how to exploit that vulnerability. And then, of course, as I discussed earlier, the privilege escalation is like one of the key steps as part of this pen test. Exploit the vulnerability, get into a system as a basic user, and then be able to escalate your privileges using some kind of a rootkit or some kind of packages, and then be able to continue on with the other attacks and stuff. So there are a lot of tools out there on the internet, and also there are some big players in the market. Whether it's Nessus or Metasploit or Burstsuit, there are a lot of open source options also available for people to be able to leverage to do this pen test. So, of course, like most of the testing that's happened, it all depends on the complexity of the system. And then, this is not like the standard 12-step process that you would follow in a pen test. It all depends on how you're set up and like what all the different services, different software that you are using, and then what kind of exposure you have.
For more information, click on the link below or visit databrackets.com.